Hi, today I want to talk to you about your mobility strategy. It's a complex thing. If we look at it this way, here's your little mobility strategy in the center, and we can almost say there's a yin and a yang to this. And we can cut it in half. There's two major components of this. The first one is the business requirements and the business needs that drive it. We look at the phones. What do we use for mobile phones? What are those devices going to look like? We look at our compliance side. We have to secure all of this and meet all our security and compliance requirements around this. We have laptops. We have netbooks. That's also a need. We got to have those. We have our collaboration pieces and our apps for the devices in terms of CRM and Web 2.0. All of that is a business driver. We need to text, we need to email, and finally we have to look at the personal versus corporate use of all of this. That's one half. Now let's look at the other side, which is how do we manage all of this? So from the management side, the first thing we have to look at is something very simple. Technical side. How do we manage all of this without spending a lot of money, utilizing a lot of bandwidth and resources, and look at the cost of deploying all of this and the spend on hardware? The next piece is our development of the strategy, which looks at how do we develop this, meet all the business needs, and at the same time control usage and spend on all of this. The next piece, and the big one, is security. How do we secure all of this data moving and traveling forward, and control the data loss prevention and do all of this for all of the and meet all these needs at the same time? And finally, how are we cost efficient on the spend and know that the life cycle costs for all of this will be manageable and point to the future? There is a way to do that, and the secret is you have to centralize it. Here's how we're going to have a centralized strategy. It starts with the BlackBerry Enterprise Server. The BlackBerry's Enterprise Server is capturing about 1,500 different items, specifically PIN, SMS, BlackBerry Messenger, phone usage. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tack in Retain for BlackBerry Enterprise Server, which is installed on your BES. Now what we're going to have, because we've got this combination, we have a centralized back-end control for the management of our mobility strategy. And when we look at this data, Retain is going to take it, put it into a really useful format and deliver that either to your SQL server or into your existing email archive. Now you've managed your compliance requirements, your security requirements, forensics, all of this for this content. Retain for BES. And when we look at the entire strategy, we now have policies in place through the BES. We now have control through this combination for our entire mobility strategy. Yes, a mobility strategy is complex. But as you can see, if you utilize a BlackBerry Enterprise Server and tack in Guava Retain for BlackBerry, you now have a centralized control over all your devices. You haven't added any software to the devices, you haven't added hardware additionally to your network or infrastructure, and you're now capturing BlackBerry SMS, PIN, Messenger text messages, and phone call usage. You've done this with minimal resources, ongoing, and what you've also done is you've hedged tomorrow's technology by using the technology of today. Guava Retain for BlackBerry Enterprise Server.